The Enchanted Cottage is an unintentionally hilarious fantasy romance from 1945 starring Dorothy Maguire and Robert Young. There's a reason I'm blocking this woman's face out. If you want to know why, keep watching. We start and this blind piano guy called John is about to perform a piece he's written himself. It was inspired by the romance between two of his friends, Oliver and Laura. When you find out the story, you're going to realise how offensive that is. We dissolve, carried away by John's music. They totally rip off Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca here. Let's compare the two.
Here it was, all that remained of a great estate, built long ago by an English nobleman, come to live out his life on these New England shores.
On and on wound the poor thread that had once been our drive. And finally, there was Manderley. Manderley, secretive and silent.
Miraculously, one wing had been saved from the flames.
Moonlight can play odd tricks upon the fancy, and suddenly it seemed to me that light came from the windows.
Daylight robbery. So there's this strange cottage in the woods, and we meet our heroine, Laura, cycling towards it. She meets a little boy, Danny, and his uncle John, the piano guy, remember him? Now I know you're thinking, why are you still blocking her face out? Well,
Friend Miss Pennington has a very pleasant voice.
Yeah, but there's this you don't know, Uncle John. She's terrible homely.
oh god, look at her perfectly normal face and slightly thicker than average eyebrows. Jesus Christ, sort yourself out, vile specimen of supposed woman. Laura's face is treated throughout the film as though it's supposed to be the worst thing anyone has ever been forced to look at. She's held up as some kind of paragon of hideousness. Laura takes a job as a maid at the cottage for a couple who are about to turn up, Oliver and Beatrice.
Hello?
They've just rented it.
Anybody home?
Come in, please.
Oh, I hope I'm not too early, Mrs. Minute. I brought Miss... Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, your face took my breath away. Let me just swallow my vomit. Yorkshire pudding head ass. Oliver and Beatrice are due to be married in a few days, then Oliver is off to war. I'm sure he'll be absolutely fine. Oliver gets called up early and so the couple end up cancelling their rental of the cottage. They send a cheque and that's the end of that. Or is it? Probably not, because we're only, I don't know, a third of the way through. The housekeeper, Mrs. Minute, always has this 1,000-yard stare. What have you seen, Mrs. Minute? What do you know?
Everybody get themselves a girl. Music, Professor!
Excuse me.
Absolute banger. Hideous dog-faced woman Laura decides to attend a dance. Of course, she's left on her own and nobody pays any attention to her. She's devastated. She returns to the cottage and keeps on scurrying about until Oliver unexpectedly appears from the shortest war ever. Bye, Hitler, you big Well, turns out Oliver has been disfigured whilst fighting, and so now, him and Laura, the woman who doesn't have a permanent set, are perfect companions. Two ugly peas in a pod. After spending a few days getting used to her hideousness, Oliver asks Laura to marry him, since, now Big Fur Coat B is out of his league and doesn't want to see him anymore.
There must be dozens of girls who'd suit your purpose better than I would.
You think I have such a great choice? A hideous casualty for the rest of my life?
I understand. I get the chance.
Charming, lucky Laura. Anyway, she thinks it and they get married, and everyone talks about it like Oliver's just agreed to marry the child of Quasimodo and a bog monster. And then, the magic of Jesus, or forest leprechauns, or something happens. Ta-da! Look, they became unugly. That's the magic of the Enchanted Cottage. Because just remember, kids, if you've got unfashionable eyebrows, you in your dreams, you are unlovable. Get to changing. The reveal scene really got me when I first watched it, because is it just me, or does she look almost exactly the same? Fair enough, Oliver's change is quite drastic, his war wound is gone, but literally she's just had an eyebrow wax and parted her hair differently. Oliver is finally able to make love to his slim eyebrowed wife, and Laura wakes up completely out. God forbid she doesn't keep up with her hair removal routine. I have a feeling that Oliver's love is highly conditional. At least now Mrs. Minute has a reason for a 1,000-yard stare. God knows the noises she heard last night. Oliver's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Price, decide to come down and visit the honeymoon couple. John the blind man and Mrs. Minute are dead against them coming because... prepare for a shocking twist. Oh my god, Laura and Oliver were ugly all along! Did Rod Serling write this? It was all in their imagination. Laura's eyebrows are still massive and her hair is still... John begs Oliver's parents not to spoil things and pretend their son's wife isn't a slug in a dress, but they can't quite manage it. The mother puts her foot in it almost immediately and ruins the couple's shared delusion.
Forgive me, darling. I didn't mean to go to pieces like this. It's just that I love you so, Ollie. And if you're happy, well, I guess that's all that really matters. I'm glad he married you, my dear. Believe me, I am. It's clear you're such a loyal girl. You've got so much to give him, so much more than just a pretty girl. And he's fortunate. We're all so fortunate that Oliver has an income and that Freddie and I are in a position to help.
They realise that they're both still incredibly ugly. They're both very upset, of course, but then because it's the end of the film, they decide it's not so bad being hideous, and they can stomach looking at each other just enough without throwing up everywhere. We cut back to the present, and John the blind piano man is still playing his song, The Two Ugly Pigs Who Got Married. Imagine being considered so freakish that your friend feels compelled to put on a performance piece for an audience about you. I mean, I don't understand how that's supposed to be a nice thing. This man is a war hero. He helped to defeat Nazis in Europe. Yeah, but it kind of looks like he's wearing a monocle in his big eye. He certainly deserves our fear and derision. What a freak! Laura and Oliver turn up and share a final kiss, and there you have it. A happy ending, I suppose. Anyway, thanks for watching my video on 1945's The Enchanted Cottage. What did you think? Let me know. See you soon!